My girlfriend 20F says I 21M am gaslighting her and being manipulative. So this morning I got a text from my girlfriend. She was upset at her sister for eating her food while she told her not to. I validated her feelings and I was trying to comfort her, but when she is mad at one thing or person, everyone gets it. The food that got eaten was something I bought her, so I said I'll buy her some more. I'm sorry her sister did that. Me and my girlfriend can't see each other often because of her mom being against her dating right now, so we have to do it in between. Sneaky. So because of that she replied to my offer to buy more with "that does nothing for me. Never get to see you anyway." I replied to that word for word, "Yes, can't see each other often, but even if it's half an hour I'll buy some more and be your delivery man, haha." She got really angry at the haha at the end, saying I was like everyone else and I am just laughing at her. I tried to clarify that I was in fact not laughing at her at all, and I said haha because of the delivery man line. She wasn't having it and said I am manipulating and gaslighting her. She demanded an apology after going off on me, and I said I'm sorry if it seemed like I was laughing at you. That was not my intention. That was the exact text I sent her. Now she is going off about how it shouldn't matter what it was. She is hurt and that's final. It should be my priority to tend to her and just apologize. I find that a bit strange, so I am asking you guys for advice. What do I do in this situation? Too long didn't read. Girlfriend got mad at her sister for eating food I bought her. After consoling her I offered to get her more with a haha at the end. She accused me of laughing at her and gaslighting her. Your GF is immature and doesn't know how to handle her emotions. If anything, she's the one manipulating you. You literally did what she asked by supporting her and saying you would take time out of your day to get her the food she wanted and deliver it to her. She needs to figure out her emotions and stop taking them out on you. You should have a frank discussion about this before it gets worse. She sounds super immature and would drive me crazy. You were making a joke in an attempt to cheer her up. It's obvious that was your intent, but in the heat of the moment it got misinterpreted. That's not gaslighting or manipulative. It should be my priority to tend to her and just apologize. No, that's not how support works, and it's not what an apology is for. Supporting a partner that cannot support themselves is the exception and not the rule in a relationship. Supporting someone at the cost of yourself is also the exception. You do it for short periods because life happens, but the norm is both partners contribute to the emotional well-being of the other. Apologies are for showing remorse and taking responsibility for something wrong you did. It's not for making the other person feel better. Apologizing when you did nothing wrong just creates resentment and more problems later. If this sort of thing is normal for her, then break up. She's not mature enough to be in a relationship. She is hurt and that's final. It should be my priority to tend to her and just apologize. Your girlfriend is wrong, and that is actually what being manipulative looks like. I get why she's upset about her sister eating her food, but you handled it totally normally, emo. So your girlfriend's reaction was way off base. Just because she is your girlfriend doesn't mean you need to cater to whatever irrational feeling she has about something. She's an adult and needs to learn how to handle her emotions better. She got really angry at the haha at the end, saying I was like everyone else and I am just laughing at her. This is a good example of that. You're just like everyone else is something manipulators say, by the way, because they're hoping the other person would say no, I'm not, and then try to prove how they are not. Gaslighting and manipulative behavior are serious things, and your girlfriend is trivializing them by throwing them around like that. She sounds utterly exhausting. My 26F coworker, 36F, is innocently insufferable and I'm losing my mind. I work in a daycare center in an infant room. My coworker Kat and I take care of 6 to 8 babies every day. I don't know if Kat has a learning disability, ADHD, is on the spectrum, or anything in between, but I know there is something off and working with her is a mental, emotional, and physical chore. She is forgetful, messy, unorganized, and has zero common sense. She will be looking right at something and say, I don't see it. I'll ask her if she did something, warmed a bottle, changed a diaper, and she replies with, oh, I was going to, but then I forgot. Her handwriting is atrocious and she misspells everything constantly and doesn't notice until I point it out. I have to rise up where she falls constantly. To top it all off, She rambles on and on all day about things that are irrelevant and that I don't care about. She tells long-winded, convoluted stories that have no point and will describe her nights and weekends to me in excruciating detail. One day, she listed both of her son's teachers' names to me in chronological order, from preschool to middle school, unprompted. She has no idea that I am not at all interested in most of what she has to say. Now Kat is a lovely person. She is a single mom raising 2 boys and would give the shirt off her back for me, or anyone. We've worked together for a long time. She is sweet and gentle and loving, and the babies in our classroom adore her. I just don't know how much longer I can suppress the urge to tell her to shut up and clean up and pay attention. Every day with her is mentally exhausting for me. I'm trying my best to be a good friend, but it's so tough. I know she's had kind of a hard life and maybe she needs someone who will listen to her, but I'm at the edge. Too long didn't read. My coworker is insufferable at no fault of her own. How do I not lose my head? Closing your eyes and counting to 10 actually helps. Deep breathing through the initial burst of upset does also. Talk to her the next time something happens. Oh, I was going to, but I totally forgot. I've noticed you've been saying this a bunch lately. Is there anything that helps you remember, or work strategies we could use to figure out a way to make it easier? It's obviously important that the thing happens. As well as Kat, I can't chat right now. I'm trying to focus and talking is disrupting my train of thought. Say it kindly and with a smile and as many times as you need to get yourself some mental privacy. You may even want to sit her down in advance of this and say, Kat, I've got something I need to talk to you about. What with the pandemic lately, I've been noticing my stress level has been getting really high, and one of the things I'm sensitive to is people chatting to me when I'm trying to work. I'm going to probably be asking you for more quiet time the next little bit. Please know I care about you and am not offended and like you as a person, and understand if I tell you that at this moment, I really can't talk. I've worked in an infant room before and it can be a really rewarding experience if everyone is pulling their weight. If they're not all pulling their weight, the care of the infant gets compromised. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm seeing the issue as her not paying close enough attention to what she's doing. Forgetting to warm a bottle can be a big deal as it could throw a baby off their meticulous eating schedule, and if you think it's warmed and it isn't, it could cause baby to refuse the bottle, hence messing up the eating schedule. Not remembering to change a baby results in a host of issues. It is never fun explaining to a parent that baby has a rash because she wasn't changed in a timely manner. If you try to bring things to her attention and she fails to adapt, she could become a liability in the infant room. Babies under your care are yours and your co-worker's responsibility, and if she's not up for the task, she may need to try a new occupation. I know I've personally told people that it just may not be the job for them because it's a big job that comes with big responsibilities and often not so big paychecks. Talk to your manager. If she constantly forgets tasks, then she's not doing her job properly. It's not your responsibility to do 2 jobs. Totally agree. And though lovely she may be, if she's absent-minded and forgetful, she could be putting these babies at risk. Do you want that weight on your shoulders? A lot of this sounds like it could potentially be ADHD. Is your work relationship close enough that you could ask her, gently and kindly, if she's ever been evaluated for ADHD? Agreed. She sounds exactly like a coworker I used to have who would say, I totally have ADHD, I just never take my meds. Struggling to maintain boundaries with family re-COVID. Struggling to maintain boundaries with family re-COVID. One of my 26F issues is sticking to boundaries that I've set, especially when I think the other person is sad or upset versus like mad. The way this is currently rearing its head is COVID related. Back in May, my parents, 45M, 46F, and extended family back home hosted a literal pool party with over 20 people there. And not just our family. No, because people posted pictures. Around the same time, my parents and younger siblings told me they were going to neighborhood cookouts, etc. too. With that, I made the decision that I won't be going to visit them until this is a lot further along than it currently is. I felt justified in my choice every time I see that they're on a lake trip with other people, going to high school football games, traveling to Florida for vacation, twice, enrolling in unnecessary school extracurriculars, going to large weddings, having back porch parties, usually unmasked and not with small groups. For comparison, I had a picnic with friends and we were on individual picnic blankets 5 to 6 feet away from each other versus all hanging out on a small back porch. Clearly I feel a little judgmental about what they're doing, but I'm not spending my time calling them and lecturing them or anything. If they ask, they don't. I tell them I disagree with their choices, but basically I've just decided that I won't be around it. I do vent to my grandma at times, but that's really it. Which leads to my issue of the week, Thanksgiving. Last week I told my mom I'm not coming home for Thanksgiving and she asked if it's because of COVID and I said yes. Earlier this week we were talking and she said that my decision had been weighing on her for a while now. She said she didn't understand why I go to work or the store or the mall but won't come visit them. She claims that they're only going to work and school and the store, so she doesn't know what I expect them to do. I pointed out a few of the big social gatherings and she basically said, well, you've only named 2 times. 1. I was caught off guard. I've since found at least 6 or 7 instances that I'm just pulling off social media. 2. It only takes 1 time. And we kind of left it in a place where I couldn't give a well-phrased answer that she wouldn't combat, and we're not going to agree on this. Tried to validate her feelings as much as I could, but it's frustrating. I also pointed out that my dad literally said this summer, I'm not really sure this is a thing anymore. I don't want to risk my health and the health of people in my bubble by visiting people who don't seem to be taking this seriously. I also don't trust them to not attend large social things like this if I were to come visit. My issue is finding a way to not only stick to my boundaries but communicate this too. Can't exactly come out and say I trust my coworkers more than you. Which is kind of the case TBH. Because my co-workers and I have talked about our stances on this stuff and it's pretty similar. And I think the thing that's making it hardest to stick to these boundaries is the fact that she wasn't coming across as pissy on the phone. I'd have no problem writing that off XD, but she just sounded sad about the fact that I won't come visit for the holidays or any other time. And I found myself wondering if I should make an exception, but part of me feels really unsafe with the idea of that, so I'm struggling. But yeah, how can I better communicate these boundaries? How can I stick to the boundaries in a way where I won't feel like I'm about to cave on something I firmly believe in just because I feel guilty that they're sad? Too long didn't read. Parents and I disagree about social distancing issues. They're upset that I refuse to visit because of this. Struggling with setting and maintaining boundaries. Going to work is something you need to do. Going to parties isn't. Parties are the #1 COVID vector, because people get a little drunk and a little close and a little yelly. The thing is, you don't have to defend or justify yourself. You are not comfortable with the level of risk, and not just risk to you, but risk to them. End of sentence. I can't exactly come out and say I trust my co-workers more than you. You could say something like I feel safe at work because they take COVID safety seriously, and will straight up fire anyone not following the mask and social distancing rules. You could also say that you have to go to work. It's not a choice, you need money to live.